Oh, wow. Thank you, Carlos. I appreciate you, my guy. I started off the show muted. Okay. That's something new. As well as Eddie, appreciate you for letting me know that I was on mute. Um, Everybody, appreciate you here joining me today. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe because if you help out the channel, that just brings better attention to all of us. We're able to have a better time within the chat section and talk some 49ers football. And that's what I'm looking to do here today. This is a playoff edition. I know I've been doing probably one show a week, mainly with Jason on Tuesdays, but hey, it's playoffs, baby. Let's talk some football. This is, haven't experienced it since 2019 when the 49ers went on their Super Bowl run. And what's kind of exciting about the 49ers being in the playoffs is because of the last four times. The 3 years with Harbaugh, the 1 year with Shanahan, the 49ers went to the NFC Championship in all four of those playoff runs. Two, they advanced to a Super Bowl. Unfortunately, especially for the younger generation like myself, those Super Bowls didn't result into a Lombardi trophy. But this team will be back to a Super Bowl victory eventually. Hopefully, it's this year. I'm tired of waiting. The last time they won the Super Bowl, I was less than 2 years old. So I've been waiting basically my whole life because I don't remember the first one. I've watched the game over and over a million times and like to think that I was there for the celebration. But I was just over 1 years old on my way to two. But let's ignore all that. Let's talk some 49ers Cowboys. I kind of wanted to preview a little bit of what's going to happen on Sunday. So, with that being said, let's start it off with quarterbacks here. Dak Prescott against the 49ers pass defense. Yes, that's probably the biggest question mark of this 49ers team is the secondary. And what we saw last week is typically what we've seen every game this year, where the team's number one wide receiver goes off and has a good game, and everybody else gets kind of neutralized. We've seen that with Cooper Cup, week 18. We saw that with even a guy like Russell Gage of the Atlanta Falcons go off and have a touchdown. We've seen it just multiple times. And that's what I'm expecting. I'm expecting Dak Prescott to find his main guy, and it's probably going to be CD Lamb since he did lead the Cowboys in receiving yards this season. Someone who I particularly wanted to be a 49er, but hey, I'm happy with Brandon Ayuk. I think this kid has star potential. If they pass as many times as the Cowboys, 60 something times a game, maybe he would have had over 1,000 yards this year, which he got pretty damn close considering the slow start. But looking at Dak Prescott's season, he had a really good year. Obviously, some up and down games, especially when he was not playing the NFC East. He did start 16 games. So basically a normal year, what we would have seen since an extra one got added on for game 17. He went 11-5 as a quarterback record, 4,449 yards, 37 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Which he had a 1.7 interception percentage, which is really, really low. I think someone told me that he only had about an interception for every 60 attempts. So that's really good when you take that all in considered. So with Dak Prescott not turning over the ball much via interceptions, the 49ers got to create some type of sticky coverage because this is going to be a big test for them, much like it was last week. And that's what I like about the Rams week 18 matchup is because they have Cooper Cup, Odell Beckham Jr., Van Jefferson's also a legit deep field target, and Higbee's a really good tight end, probably top 10 tight end in the NFL. So, and Matthew Stafford to go along with it. Yes, he's the most intercepted quarterback in these playoffs with about 16 on the season, but he still can sling it. He could throw from any different delivery. Sometimes you'll see him throw from a sidearm delivery, much like Dak Prescott does. So it was a very, very good test last week. They were also on the road, even though, don't tell Rams, it was more like a 49ers home game. So this team is battle tested. And what's so special about last week with the 49ers DBs is Ambry Thomas, like he didn't play all week long because he was on the COVID reserve list. So he had zero practice, basically as if it was a rec league saying, "Oh, I'm just showing up and playing." That's what Ambry Thomas did, and he still got better. He still developed without any of the practice, and that just shows what this coaching staff is doing to have these players prepared. Also, I don't want to diminish Ambry Thomas in preparing to play because that's exactly what he did. So now this week, he's actually going to be able to get some practice reps, build off that Rams game. Um, you can only do so much to stop an Amari Cooper. You could only do so much to stop a CD Lamb. And hell, Wilson, their number 3 receiver, is looking really good. So I would probably have to give the edge to the Dallas Cowboys and their passing game on this one, but I don't expect it to be easy. And the reason why I give the edge to the Dallas Cowboys in their passing game is while the 49ers may be the 3rd defensive unit in all of football, they are in the bottom half in completion percentage and as well as yards per attempt. They're in the bottom half of those two categories. And when you're in the bottom half of those two categories, I expect a quarterback of Dak Prescott's caliber to at least be able to provide something from an offensive standpoint. I don't expect the 49ers defense to just stall him out and where he's scoring 10 points, 13 points. I don't expect that type of game for the Cowboys. I expect them to get in the 20s. And how they're going to do that is from their passing game. So the where you're going to need to do to Dak Prescott, it's kind of obvious, is create the pressure. Create the pressure because when he on pass attempts, when pressured, his passer rating is a below 90. Average quarterbacks now their passer rating is about 100. So if his passer rating is below 90, I think what I saw was about 85 or so of his passer rating when under pressure. That's what the 49ers are going to have to do. And the thing is, it's not going to be easy against this Cowboys offensive line. They don't give up very much pressures. Tyron Smith gives up a pressure in every 41 pass blocks. Connor Williams, every 43 pass blocks. I'm talking about plays. Uh, Tyler Biadasz, 36 plays before he gives up a pressure, pass blocking plays. Zach Martin, 36. Lyle Collins, 26. So Lyle Collins is actually the weak link of this team, their right tackle, and he still doesn't give up a pressure until every 26 pass blocking snaps. When you look at the 49ers offensive line, how does that compare to the 49ers offensive line? Since the 49ers offensive line is a top 10 unit according to PFF and their pass blocking grade, I think the Cowboys are actually 3rd. Trent Williams, every 31 snaps, pass blocking snaps, he will give up a pressure. Lincoln Tomlinson, 24 pass blocking snaps. Alex Mack, 49 pass blocking snaps before he gives up a pressure. So he's actually has the best pass blocking snap to pressure rate between both these teams. Alex Mack, don't care what year it is, he's still gonna ball out. Daniel Brunskill, every 16 snaps. Tom Compton, same thing, every 16 snaps. So you can see the differences within these offensive lines when it comes to the pass blocking and the pressures. But I do expect the 49ers to create some type of pressure against Dak Prescott and make him press and put him in situations he doesn't necessarily want to be in because the other teams that the Dallas Cowboys played, especially Dak Prescott under center, is he's not having to deliver a football while Nick Bosa is closing on him. He's not having to deliver a football while Eric Armstead, Arden Key, Samson Ebukam, you name it. I could even say Jordan Willis has been effective this year. He's not going against a defensive line that has this much depth all season. He hasn't all season. So that's what I'm looking forward to with this 49ers team to see what pressure they can create, how often they can create the pressure. Because when you put Dak Prescott in bad situations, things are going to happen. And the Cowboys are 9-1 when they lead the turnover batter. 9-1 when the Dallas Cowboys win the turnover battle. So you have to create the turnovers. And it's Captain Obvious over here. The most obvious way you're going to create the turnovers, creating Dak Prescott, or excuse me, creating pressure on Dak Prescott, and then having him release a ball in a situation he doesn't necessarily want. What's up, Amin? Let's go ahead and answer this for you. What's up, Leo? Question not related to the game, but who is the better receiver in your opinion, Debo or Justin Jefferson? See, the thing is, these two guys do something different. Justin Jefferson's an amazing route runner, while Debo is, he's a good route runner, but not to the level as Justin Jefferson. And Justin Jefferson doesn't do what Debo Samuel does after the catch. So these are completely two different type of play style wide receivers. Um, if I had to choose who I would prefer on this 49ers team, that I'll stick it that way. Who would be my preference to be on this current 49ers team right now? It would be Debo Samuel over Justin Jefferson. Based on how this offense plays, based on what Jimmy does as a quarterback, delivers you the ball and lets you create the yards after the catch, when Justin Jefferson is going to need more of a quarterback that just going to hit him in the numbers. He's going to be more possession like and not necessarily this bully on the field like Debo Samuel is. So who would I prefer on this current 49ers team with the quarterback situation, with Kyle Shanahan calling plays? I'm going to prefer Debo Samuel over Justin Jefferson. And I can say that confidently. Maybe if it was a multiverse, Spider-Man, let's go full Spider-Man here, multiverse, and we're talking about the quarterback is Patrick Mahomes of this 49ers team, then yeah, give me Justin Jefferson at that point. For sure. But that's not the situation here. So I'll take Debo Samuel. Even when we want to throw in Trey Lance, I'll still take Debo Samuel because I think they could do some pretty sneaky, some creative designs, and I think Kyle Shanahan could get really creative with the Debo Samuel and Trey Lance. So I'll go ahead and take that combination. Can we wear those 94 jerseys, please? Yes. I'm all on board with the 94 jerseys. That's exactly what I want. But since it is technically a throwback jersey, the 49ers are unavailable to use that uniform for this game in Dallas. But yeah, it would imagine the storyline. The 49ers beat the Dallas Cowboys in the playoffs with the 94 Reds, the same uniforms that they beat Dallas the last time they played them in the playoffs. Imagine that storyline. I would love it. But that's not going to be the reality of the situation. I'll probably throw on my 94 jersey. Shout out my brother who, got that for me. But let's go ahead and continue with this. I'm going to give the edge to Dak Prescott and their passing game. The 49ers passing game has been fantastic when you consider the personnel that they do have. So, yes, it's been fantastic. The great thing is that Josh Norman's not going to be out there at cornerback for the 49ers anymore. Ambry Thomas is a full-blown starter for this team. And defensively, in terms of passing, they're sixth in league rank. They're sixth in passing yards against. But once again, they do give up a high completion percentage against this 49ers defense. And Dak Prescott is a high completion quarterback on the season. Dak Prescott he was around 68 completion percentage on the season. So we'll see, what happens in that matchup. But I would have to give the edge to the Dallas Cowboys in that. And believe me, I want to give the less edge as much as possible to the Dallas Cowboys, but sometimes we just got to keep it real. What about Jimmy Garoppolo versus the Cowboys pass defense, Leo? Yeah, let's look at it. I think the Cowboys pass defense, it reaps benefits of their defensive line. They do. They truly do. They reap benefits of their defensive line because they lead the league in the interceptions, but that's more so because of their defensive line, especially where they are now. They're the healthiest that they've been all season long with their defensive line. They have Randy Gregory back. They got DeMarcus Lawrence back. And when you talk about their pass rush, you might as well consider Micah Parsons in that category as well. So, and Micah Parsons has been insane in creating pressure from a pass rushing standpoint. So, um, let's see. Do you think the Niners can run the football? Yeah, I'll get into that. I'll get into that. I'll get into the Niners running the ball for sure. Carlos agrees. Let's rock the 94s. But it's while their secondary reaps benefits off of their defensive line, I ran through the 49ers offensive line. They're a top 10 pass blocking unit. They did struggle early on against the Rams, and that's where you saw Jimmy Garoppolo fumble the ball. They had like a third and forever, and they had to punt it on their second drive of the game. But the thing is, Trent Williams wasn't playing in that. And Trent Williams, it's not so much him being available to play, but it's also what he can leak out in confidence to the other guys on the team. It's not just him physically being there. It's the energy, the vibe, the confidence that everybody has because they know they have a Trent Williams in the huddle. So I don't expect the 49ers to have a third and forever like they did against the Rams, or just have a series or have a drive like they did then on their second drive of the game. I do expect them to hold up a little more, and if they do so, I think Jimmy Garoppolo can take advantage of this Cowboys defense if Jimmy Garoppolo plays to himself. You know, it's kind of like Jekyll and Hyde with Jimmy Garoppolo. It's a mystery box. The mystery box could be good Jimmy. The mystery box could be mid Jimmy, or it could be bad Jimmy. Um, I don't think the Rams game in the beginning was necessarily bad Jimmy. I think bad Jimmy was the end of the Titans game. That was bad Jimmy. Well, not even the end. From the injury until the rest of the game, that was bad Jimmy. The Rams game, the beginning of the Rams game was mid Jimmy, and then we saw good Jimmy, and we needed to see good Jimmy from there on. And I think with Dallas, they actually, or excuse me, with the 49ers offense, they ranked number one in explosive plays in the NFL. Number one in explosive plays. And while I won't give Jimmy Garoppolo full credit in his yards per attempt, because that's, to me, it's yards per attempt that gets added on from the yards after the catch. And you have you have guys that are absolutely special in terms of yards after the catch. So these quarterbacks don't have Kittle, they don't have Debo, that are top three every year for yards after the catch rate. They don't have that. You have two of them. So I don't. Where I will give Jimmy credit on the yards per attempt is that he's putting it in a place where he's giving his guys opportunities. I'll give him the credit on that. He's putting it in a place where he's giving the guys opportunities. Um, so it's that's why you're able to become the number one offense in explosive plays. That's why you're able to become the number one quarterback in yards per attempt. And when you do that, believe me, Trayvon Diggs don't want to be physical. He does not want to be physical. He likes to range, he likes to predict, and he likes to jump on routes. He's a smart corner. That's why he had 11 interceptions. He didn't have an 11 interceptions because he's locked down like a Stephon Gilmore. Or hell, he was more so, say Richard Sherman. That's fine. Say Richard Sherman when Sherman was in Seattle. That's kind of like what Diggs was. He was just smart, able to jump on routes, but he got beat a hell of a lot more than Richard Sherman. And I tell you what, if I had an option to say you could choose one for $1,000, do you want that $1,000 on Brandon Ayuk winning man-on-man coverage versus Trayvon Diggs, or do you want that $1,000 if Trayvon Diggs wins that one-on-one coverage on Brandon Ayuk? I would say give me Ayuk over Diggs. Give me Ayuk over Diggs. I think Diggs is a really good player, but I don't think this is a good matchup for him, and that's fine. It's come on, like Aaron Donald's not a good matchup against when he goes against Daniel Brunskill. All right, now I'm capping a little bit, but it's I do like the matchup for this 49ers team versus this Dallas secondary. And hell, they have Anthony Brown on that team. Anthony Brown is terrible. He's terrible. If it's not a touchdown he's giving up passer interference. So I do like the 49ers opportunities. They're they're 20th in pass yards on the season. 20th in pass yards against on the season, the Dallas Cowboys are. And the 49ers have the number one quarterback in yards per attempt. Like I said, that's not all Jimmy. That gives credit to you could even throw Juwan Jennings in there now, the way he's playing. Do I want the number one? Who am I giving the edge to? The quarterback who has a number one yards in per attempt or the 20th passing defense in terms of yards? Give me Jimmy. All day. Give me Jimmy. Give me Jimmy. What's up, Esteban, my guy? What's going on? But I love Jimmy, so that makes him better, right? Yeah, sure. I'm just kidding, man. Imagine the storyline for Jimmy Garoppolo to go out there basically and go on a playoff one or just go and win a playoff game, considering everything that has taken place since the end of last season. Because the end of last season, you had Matthew Stafford, you had Andy Dalton, and Tom Brady's rumors were coming up again since he just won the Super Bowl. So it's just terrible. 4-9 bloodline. I can already see that Dallas defense yelling and bickering each other on the sideline. Young, unproven, immature defense. That defense can't hold up under pressure. Young, unproven, immature defense. See, the thing is, with the words in there, I agree with you. They're young, unproven, immature defense. And the reason why I agree with you is because last time the Cowboys were in the playoffs, they didn't have a Trayvon Diggs, a guy I just spent 5 minutes talking about. They didn't have Trayvon Diggs. They didn't have Micah Parsons. They didn't. And what are those two guys? Probably the main part of their defense. Sure, you could say DeMarcus Lawrence. Sure, you could say Randy Gregory. But Randy Gregory didn't have a season like he did until this year. Hell, there was a lot of the times where he was unavailable during the season because of other issues. So give me the 49ers passing game in this one. Give me Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't care how it comes. Does it happen behind the line of scrimmage? Does it happen 5 to 10 yards range? I don't care. Because I think the 49ers have the edge in that one. Give me Jimmy Garoppolo over the Cowboys pass defense. 10 out of 10. Give it to me. Now let's look at the Cowboys running game. Zeke, Tony Pollard. You know, one of these days, hopefully Zeke gets rid of the crop tops. I don't get the whole story behind it. I don't get the reasoning behind it, but hey, that's your thing, man. Go ahead. I won't judge you, just a little. Obviously 49ers defense. Ain't no way I'm choosing the Cowboys running game against the 49ers defense. Ain't no way. Since week 9, since they played the Cardinals, week 9, they have not given up a 90-yard rusher. 49ers, they have not given up a 90-yard rusher. I'm not even talking about 100. I'm talking about a 90-yard rusher. They have not done that. They have not given it up. If you play fantasy football and if one of your guys is in your lineup playing against the 49ers, you should probably know how good this team has been against the run. I had Cordero Patterson in my lineup, and man, he had a really good year. Cordero Patterson of the Atlanta Falcons had a really good year. He didn't do shit for me when he played the 49ers. Nothing. This defense is tough against the run, and that's mainly so because of DJ Jones. DJ Jones is outstanding. He is outstanding against the run. I really hope the 49ers extend him. I really hope the 49ers extend DJ Jones. He's been playing at a high level, and the 49ers rush defense is, in terms of yards, just 7th in the NFL. And if they didn't have those early season hiccups, they would be a top 3 unit in terms of rushing in the NFL. I think they're like 2 in DVOA. Yeah, the goal line stops against Patterson. And Patterson's not, he's not one of those running backs who could kind of telegraph on what he's doing. No, he's a do-it-all type running back. He's a Swiss Army knife like Deebo Samuel. So you got to be on your toes when you're playing against a Cordell or Patterson. So to have those 3 goal line stops is just, that tells you how special this unit is. It's a really special. And do I expect Zeke to go off? Zeke, who had his lowest yards per game in his career? Like, why? Who in the right mind is going to say, you know what, Zeke is going to have a good game? He's playing against a top 2 DVOA run defense, but you know what? Zeke is going to have a good game. The dude averaged 4.2 yards per carry. That's in the Tevin Coleman territory, man. He's Tevin Coleman out there. Where Zeke provides a bigger problem will be a receiver out of the backfield. He had 65 targets on the year. That's a lot. 47 receptions. Holy cow, they love to pass the ball. He provides a bigger threat as a receiver than a running back. Tony Pollard's a better running back than Zeke at this point. He absolutely is. Zeke had to use 17 games to get 1,000 yards on the year. He had to use 17 games. Tony Pollard had over 715 games with 5.5 yards per carry, playing a secondary role behind Zeke. Oh, yeah. Tony Pollard also had 39 receptions to Zeke's 47. So Tony Pollard is a bigger threat. I'm more concerned about Tony Pollard than I am about Ezekiel Elliott. We should know. Tony Pollard went on like a 40-yard run against this team in 2020. Right? I agree. Different 49ers team. Absolutely uncomparable 49ers team. Different mentality as well last year. And I think that, a lot of that has to do with the quarterback situation. You go out there with Jimmy Garoppolo, you're you're feeling that you're going to win these games. You go out there with Nick Mullins, you're like, shit, this is going to be tough. It's going to be a tough game. So last year, I don't even care about last year. That's like considering Dak is 2-0 against the 49ers when Dak's 2 wins against the 49ers was 2016, 2017 against Blaine Gabbert and Brian Hoyer. We don't count that. Like, literally, Jimmy Garoppolo was still a New England Patriot because that 2017 game was early on in the year. Don't tell me Dak Prescott's 2-0 against the Niners. No. A different version of the Niners, sure. But not this Niner team. It's not 2-0. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? He's when someone told me that yesterday on the live stream with Jason, I was just like, wow, you're crazy for thinking that. But dude, like, Zeke's not gonna do nothing. You know why he got 1,000 yards on the year? It's because he played against the Eagles B team. 17 games against the Eagles B team in that 17th game. That's what got him 1,000 yards on the season. Zeke don't scare me. Zeke don't scare this 49ers run defense either. He does not. And while I said Tony Pollard is going to be a bigger threat on the ground than Ezekiel Elliott, Tony Pollard's not going to keep you up at night. He's in a secondary role. He's not going to get 25 carries. He's not. He's not going to get a Jonathan Taylor workload. Hell, he's not even getting an Ezekiel Elliott workload. 49ers run defense. Give me that. Give me the edge there. So if you're keeping track, I got Jimmy Garoppolo giving the edge in the 49ers passing game. Give me the edge of the 49ers run defense versus the Cowboys run game. And then I gave the edge against Dak Prescott because that's, it's kind of obvious. It's kind of obvious. So let's look at the 49ers run offense then. Elijah Mitchell, and you might as well throw in Deebo Samuel in there. Do I need to say more? Do I really need to say more? The obvious edge is to the 49ers here. Elijah Mitchell had a hell of a year, broke the 49ers rookie rushing record in a single season. And then Deebo Samuel. It's crazy because you could line him up at running back and you know he's getting the ball and you still can't stop him. So I'm giving the edge to the 49ers run game against the Cowboys run defense because the Cowboys run defense is pretty mid. It's pretty mid. It's nothing special. They're 16th in rushing yards allowed per game. They're 11th in rushing attempts per game. So that means they would probably be even worse than 16th if teams are running on them more. And the reason why teams didn't is because they got behind the 8-ball and they had to pass a little more than run the ball. So yards per attempt, they're 23rd in the NFL. I don't think anybody is going to trust this Dallas run defense to stop the 49ers run offense. I'll tell you what, they're hoping. Cowboy fans and Cowboy truthers are hoping, but it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I'm in the minority, but to me, Dallas is not a great team. They play in the NFC East, face no adversity. Their numbers are inflated. Out of Dak's 37 touchdowns, 20 came against the NFC East. Wow. 6-0 versus the NFC East. 6-0. Good job, Cowboys. You beat trash teams. Good job. But let's keep it real. 6-5 versus everyone else. 6-5 versus everyone else. Okay. That's all that needs to be said. Selfishly, if the Niners go on a run here to the Super Bowl, I wouldn't even care what happened after. It means we probably send Dallas, Green Bay, and Tampa NFC West team, so Cardinals or Rams West team packing. Wouldn't know how to same. Hey, I'll be wild. Ooh, when I hop in those live streams, if they beat Dallas, Green Bay, Tampa, I'll be going crazy. I just hope you guys are here with me, especially on Tuesdays. That Tuesdays is fun with Jason. But yeah, 49ers getting the edge here. I don't know how you don't give the 49ers the edge over the Cowboys. Like it said, even in the run, 49ers create explosive plays in the run game. 7th in the NFL in rushing yards per game. 7th. And we're talking about a rookie running back that missed quite a few games. We're talking about Jeff Wilson, who had to come in and start, and he wasn't even healthy yet. He just kind of had to fill the role. Deebo Samuel having to go get over 300 yards as a running back out of necessity. So, yeah. Hey, I just brought up Jeff Wilson, and Bruce is in here with me. Hopefully, Jeff Wilson gets some touches as well this week. Run right at them all game. Yes, run right at them all game because Michael Parsons, I don't want to discredit him. He's top 3 MVP candidate for sure. For sure. But where he struggles most is when you run at him. So if they want to be crazy, which is it's technically not crazy because it's going to happen quite often, I wouldn't blame them if they did, line up Michael Parsons over on the right side, well, offensive right side, so Tom Compton. Line him up over Tom Compton, and Tom Compton, since he's been a starter, it's like I'm having a hard time saying this because I didn't even want the guy on the team. It's that he's like the number 2 run blocker in all the NFL since he's been starting by PFF. take it what you will. Hashtag fits my narrative because he's a 49er and it's something good, really good. But he has played good as a run blocker. Like the eye test will tell you that. So if he wants to line up over there on Tom Compton's side, run right at him. Outside zone, baby, all day long. Micah Parsons ain't going to stop that. The only way Micah Parsons is going to stop a play from a rushing attack is from behind. From behind, catch up speed, and tackle him from there. He's not going to stop a rushing play straight up. He's not going to shed a block and stop the rushing play from straight up. That's not part of his game. If he does, I'll eat the crow. That's fine. But I highly doubt that happens. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you 100%. But yeah, let's go ahead and move on to the next one. This is where it gets interesting. Is Cowboys O-line versus 49ers D-line. You could possibly say this is going to be where the game is won or lost between the 49ers O-line and the Cowboys D-line. This game might be won or lost in that category because Cowboys O-line is special. They're older. So since they are older, I think they can be had. I wouldn't wish an injury on anyone, but if Tyron Smith's body isn't holding up, I don't think anyone would say they're surprised. They do a great job keeping Dak Prescott upright. A lot of that has to do with their scheme. Dak Prescott does get the ball out really quick, but just like Dak Prescott has not seen a defensive line like the 49ers and had to stand in there and deliver the football, neither has this Cowboys offensive line. Nick Bosa, 7 pass rushing snaps until he creates a pressure. Damn. And this Cowboys team passes a lot. And you're telling me that Nick Bosa is going to be there every 7 snaps? Whew. So, they're going to be eaten, whether they, how often they get there. That's going to be where you could say this game's won or lost. Arden Key, 7.2 snaps before he creates a pressure. Arden Key is decimals behind Nick Bosa in creating pressure. This is what I mean by the Cowboys haven't seen a defensive line like this. Eric Armstead. We saw the game he had against the Los Angeles Rams. 2.5 sacks. Basically living rent-free behind the offensive line, taking down Matthew Stafford. Samson Ebukam. Wow. He's gotten comfortable within this defensive line for the 49ers. Samson Ebukam has gotten comfortable. You've seen it over the past few weeks. Okay, week 1 versus Tampa, that's fair. Tampa has a really good, defensive line. They got Shaq Barrett. Did Vita Vea play that game? Because I know he had an injury at one point. I wonder if it was that game. But Star Vision, I'll see you in here. It's I don't think when we met at the baseball game and we were like, oh, you have a YouTube channel? Oh, I have a YouTube channel too. I don't think we would have thought that we would have been sitting here wild card weekend and basically our YouTube channels are going up against each other. I don't think we would have thought that. I would say best of luck, but I don't want the Cowboys to have the best of luck, so I'm not going to say that. I'll just keep it real. But I appreciate you here joining the rest of us. Okay, defensive line, Samson Ebukam. He's been on a tear for the past 8 weeks, on a tear. And I don't think 49ers or defensive line is as appreciated as it was in 2019, which is fair because it's not the same defensive line as 2019. There's no D Ford, there's no DeForest Buckner. So it is a completely different team. But what I will say is that it's a very effective defensive line. They're still creating pressure. Hey, what's up? Do you want to come say hi? This is Darlene. She wants to say go Niners. Come on.
Go Niners.
Yeah, let's do it. Say beat the Cowboys.
Beat the Cowboys.
There we go. That's exactly what it's about. So she's gonna have to get caught up on the rivalry of this game and appreciate it. Thank you. But I'm going to have to give the edge to the Cowboys offensive line at the end of the day. Do I think the 49ers are going to do their own thing and win matchups? Sure. Yeah, they're going to create the pressure. That's kind of the inevitable. That's kind of why I gave Dak Prescott the edge, because it's kind of inevitable that he's going to get his own. He's got the weapons. He's going to do it. And since the Cowboys do have the weapons, they're going to have opportunities to get the ball out quick. They're going to have opportunities to dump it down to an Ezekiel Elliott or Tony Pollard. Like I said, Ezekiel Elliott has 65 targets on the year. Tony Pollard has 46. That's a crazy amount. Over 100 combined targets to both running backs. So they're going to have the opportunities to get the ball out quick. And that's why I'm going to give the Cowboys offensive line the edge here. They are a good rated offensive line. Like I said, none of them are giving up, pressure every 25 pass blocking snaps. None of them. They're all over that 25 pass blocking snaps rate. Yet the 49ers have 3 of their 5 under that. So they're a better offensive line. I'm going to give the edge to them. And when it comes to the 49ers offensive line and Cowboys defensive line, I just said it. The 49ers have 3 guys that give up a pressure under 25 snaps, pass blocking snaps. 3 of their 5. The only 2 that aren't are the 2 old guys, Trent Williams and Alex Mack. Just the 2 old guys are the ones keeping it consistent for the 49ers offensive line. While I do like Lincoln Tomlinson to play better than the numbers do, especially with Trent Williams back there now, because he said he will play. That's news, I guess. Trent Williams said he will play. But looking at the Cowboys pass rushers, it's Randy Gregory. Every 7 pass rushes, he creates a pressure. Marcus Lawrence, every 7, he creates a pressure. Micah Parsons, every 4.5 times he rushes the quarterback, he creates a pressure. Dorrance Armstrong. I'm sure a lot of you are going to have to Google that name. Dorrance Armstrong. Every 9 pass rushing snaps, he creates a pressure. This team the Cowboys have depth rushing the quarterback. I know that's not what you want to hear. I know that's not what I want to see or hear, but they do have the depth. And based on the way the 49ers offensive line has been, the sucker at certain points of games, I'm gonna have to, give the Cowboys defensive line an edge. So if you're keeping track, I gave Dallas 3 categories, which is their offensive line, their defensive line, and Dak Prescott. I gave the 49ers 3 categories: Jimmy Garoppolo, the run defense, and their running game. So in those matchups, it's 3-3. This matchup is pretty freaking even. But there's one thing that's simple: run the ball, keep the time of possession. You're running the ball. That means the Cowboys pass rush isn't coming at you. That means the Cowboys are going to have to pass more because they're going to, they have Cowboys average 11 possessions a game. The 49ers average 10 possessions against a game. So that's 1 less possession that Dallas is probably counting in this one. And keep it simple, man. Keep it simple. And Micah Parsons could say all he wants that, hey, I'm from Pennsylvania and where I come, the bullies get bullied. Like, that's cute. That's kind of something you have to say in a presser. I don't think that's necessarily bulletin board material for the 49ers. They know that. Bullies don't need to get prepared to bully. Bullies don't need to get prepared to bully. So the 49ers are going to come out being the 49ers in terms of that. So it's going to be a fun game. If I am going to give the overall, even though they're tied, here's going to be the coin toss for me. Penalties. Cowboys are 31st in the league in terms of penalties. 31st in the league. 49ers aren't the best at keeping the game clean either. They're not the best. But the Cowboys have allowed over 1,100 yards in penalties. Over 1,100 yards in penalties. That's about equivalent to CeeDee Lamb's receiving yards, if you want to put in that perspective. That's more than George Kittle's receiving yards, if you want to put in that perspective. So I'm giving the edge to the 49ers in this one. The Cowboys, they have committed 127 penalties on the season. That is a heck of a lot. 127 penalties on the season. The 49ers have given up 102 penalties over the season. So we're talking about a difference of a quarter, 25 right there. A difference of a quarter. So that's going to be something to watch. The Cowboys, when they do allow 20 first downs to their opponent since week 8, when their opponent gets 20 first downs, Cowboys are 1-4. That one win is week 18 Eagles practice squad. So you want to look at it, they're 0-4 since week 8 when their opponent gets 20 first downs. The blueprint's there for the 49ers. What happens when your run game is working? You're picking up first downs. And it's a heck of a lot easier to pick up 20 first downs in a single game when your running game is working. Because if you're picking it up from the pass game, that means you're stretching the field more. You're getting bigger chunks per play, which means you could score on 3 first downs opposed to scoring after 5 first downs. So I also ultimately as well, I don't help the reps dictate this game either. Let the players play. But if there's something blatant out there, call it. Call it. If it's blatant, call it. But if it's against the 49ers, keep it in your pocket, I guess. So this is going to be a fun one. I'll probably do something again in a couple days here. I'm going to give the edge to the 49ers in the matchup. Like I said, I had them tied up 3-3. Penalties. Penalties are going to make me give the edge to the 49ers. Cowboys are 1-4 against teams that have 10 wins or more. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Hey, I appreciate all of you guys that joined me. If you want to see across enemy lines and see what has them hyped about, see what maybe, if they could see what weaknesses that they think they could dictate against the 49ers, go check out Star Vision, the Star Vision channel. I know he's going to have some type of predictions going on there. It's playoffs. Who doesn't at this point? Any predictions? Or are you going to do that later this week? I'm probably going to do that Friday. Probably going to save the prediction for Friday and go from there. I do want to probably have somebody on with me on Friday. I want to have multiple predictions rather than just myself. So I'll probably say that for Friday. And let's go Niners. Make sure you guys smash the like button, hit subscribe. Once again, the better the algorithm, the more the audience could get, the more the chat could be lit, the more we have fun overall, and the better the conversation gets, which that's what we needed in the off season, because it's not going to be exciting as playoffs. But hopefully the off season is in about mid-February. I'd appreciate that if the off season's mid-February. If you know what I'm talking about, then you would realize that I'm talking about. Hopefully it's February, because the 49ers go on a Super Bowl run. That Dallas defense can't hold up one of our classics. 20 play, 11 to 13 minutes. Oh my God. Yes. Dude, that would be so freaking awesome. 49ers win the coin toss. 20 plays, 11 minutes off the clock. Dak Prescott doesn't see the field until 4 minutes in the fourth quarter. Can you imagine? Can you, at this point, win percentages from ESPN seems irrelevant after they gave the 49ers decimals to come back against the Rams? But that's going to be in a huge 49ers favor if they go out there, 20 play, 11 to 13 minute drive. Dak Prescott doesn't see the field until 4 2 minutes left in the first quarter. They're going to be pressing. 49ers need to take advantage of the run game. Teams haven't done that against the Dallas Cowboys because a lot of it has been NFC East teams. Let's see. Go Niners, baby. I'll see you in a couple days.